In this lesson, we're going to talk about setting up the lights and shadow by duplicating layers and working with blending modes. So I'm going to start maybe from a bit different image right now, or maybe from this. Let's duplicate every project maybe twice. So you can hit on this, you can hit right and then duplicate layer. Or if you don't want to do this way, just press on keyboard Control or Command and J and you will duplicate the layer. Can easily do this, as you can see, many times, as many as you want. I can do this even twice over here. So I'm going to turn off the visibility from this. And in Photoshop, you have something like blending modes. When you hit over here, as you can see, it says normal. This is blending mode. And we have many different things. We have normal, dissolve, and here you have to remember these parts over here. Darken, multiply, color burn, linear burn, and darker color. These blending modes are darkening. Then down we have lighten, screen, color dodge, linear color. These are brighten blending modes. Then we have contrast blending modes like overlay, soft light, hard light, vivid light, linear light, pin light, and hard mix, which also we're going to use for many other things. And then we have some abstract one and actually color and light one. So for example, this image is quite dark. What I want to do, I want to brighten this up. I'm going to press screen and you can see the image looks totally different right now. It's very similar to lighten. As you can see, lighten actually not doing anything, not affecting screen, color dodge even more. So for me, the most suitable in this case will be probably screen, and I'm going to take down some of the opacity because it was too much. I'm going to keep this at 60, and now it looks pretty much alright. However, still this background over here is a bit too strong for me. It looks like overburn. In such a case, what am I doing? I'm creating new layer mask by hitting this icon, and we have this white layer mask over here. So how to actually, what is it and how we work with this? This layer mask, when we create this and the white color is just on this, it means everything what on this layer is visible. So the fact that this layer is here and it has blending mode screen and opacity 60% means it's visible. Once again, white color means all of this, blending mode and opacity is visible over here. However, if I'm going to change this color into black one, everything will be invisible. To change this into black one, press on your keyboard Control or Command and I to invert this. Black color means that all the information on this layer, opacity 60% and screen, are invisible on this image. To bring this up, we have to use color white. I told you I didn't like this area when we bring this white again by pressing Control or Command I. Visible, invisible. So I'm going to keep this white and I want to only darken this area over here. So with black color of the brush that I have set here, I'm going to paint into darkness. And I'm bringing my background as it was before. Now it's a bit contrasting, so I can even lower the opacity. And here we are. It was a very simple step, and that's how you do this. Let's go to another image and let's look what we could do over here. This image is a bit brightened and maybe less contrasting. So for this image, I would go with darkening blending modes or with contrasting. With contrast, overlay I believe will be too strong. So in contrasting, I like to work with soft light. And it bringing up actually more contrast for shadows. It darkened the shadows and bring up more lights from the light. So it works for both. If we want to darken this, I would go with darken, which in this case doesn't affect. So multiply will be affecting. Darken will be working same as lighten will not be visible. And multiply darken our image. So yes, it looks still a bit too dark, so what I would do, I would just lower the opacity in such a case. And if I'm going to need this in the future, I'm creating layer mask. So very simple step, that's how you can darken the image. And of course, later on, I'm going to duplicate this once again as I wasn't changing anything. I'm going to bring this up, not like this. I'm going to duplicate this one. And for this one, I'm going to remove this layer mask now. Delete layer mask, it's multiply, I'm going back to normal. And if I want to bring up some contrast now, I'm going to set up soft light, as you can see. So I darken this image first, and then I also add some of the soft light for this to bring up some of the contrast. That's how it looks like. So this image first, just soft light would look like this, darken like this, and soft light at the end, and we have darken and really nice contrastic image. So it's extremely simple to work with blending modes. Of course, you can create many of them and create many experiments. Once again, I'm going to create these two. First one, multiply. Second one, soft light. And you can see dark, contrastic. If for one we apply multiply and another one screen, as you can see, we just brighten this up. If that would be just screen, the light would be much stronger. By this, we're knocking this down. So I could even lower this, and we could get kind of really nice effects. So as you can see, you have a lot of possibilities. You can experiment with many of them. And right now, let's go to another example. And I want to go into maybe something a bit more complicated as we start, because we know how blending modes works, how to brighten image, how to darken image. And now let's say we want to bring up the lights from specific area, like the hair. And also, what we have here, I'm going to screen to brighten this up. I'm going to create layer mask, as I was talking before, and darken this. So just invert the color from white to black. Control or Command and I. Now, as you know what I was saying before, we need to paint in white to bring up the effect we have. I'm going to choose white color. I already have a brush, but here we have opacity and flow of our brush. If we paint like this, we bring up the effect that is on this layer totally. I want to bring soften effect, so I'm going to take down the flow. It doesn't matter if you take down flow or opacity. Flow is a bit more flexible and it just builds up your effect as long as you're going to paint, and opacity is more solid. So I'm going with this soft flow right now, and I want to add some of the shine for the hair. So that's how I'm doing this. Or actually any other part, it could be even here, lips, or everything. So that's super simple method. Before, after, we just brighten up a few parts randomly, not necessarily being careful. Of course, you can change this into soft light and everything is going to give you a bit different effect. Soft light in this case will darken them a little bit as we're bringing up contrast. Multiply, darken, screen, in this case, bringing this up. If it's still too strong, we can easily lower the opacity. So as you can see, this is another way of working with lights and shadows by just duplicating layers and working that way. This method is just experimental actually, and what I need to say, I rather prefer the methods I showed you before, because you know you can use them the same way, whether you brighten the hair, whether you do other things. However, in some different techniques, you might want to use this in some special images. Maybe that will be quicker for you.